Hello Capricorn friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my report, Capricorn March 2021, Astrology Must Knows. I am just going to tell you right from the beginning of this report that this is my favorite month of the entire year of 2021. It's also my favorite month compared to what we've had for a very long time in 2020 because of quite a few reasons, and I'm going to go right here at the beginning into those reasons so you'll understand why I'm so excited. And we're also going to talk about quite a few must-knows specific for Capricorn so that you can use the energies the best this month because it's going to be a very powerful one. Okay, so here are the must-know reasons as to why I'm so excited about March and why I think it's the best month of the whole year astrologically. The first is that we have way more sweet aspects compared to salty ones. When we have a very dominating amount of sweet aspects compared to difficult ones, it really sets the mood for the month and the general astrology. So that's happening this month. That hasn't happened for a long time, and it's not going to happen any other time this whole year. So that on its own is just a ton to celebrate about. Along with that is a little side piece, is that even some of the ones that I list as possibly being able to go salty, those ones are like either or transits, and a lot of those can actually flip over to the positive side. So even some of the ones that could create a little mischief, some of those can actually flip over and also be super sweet. We are free from the outer planet clashes that have been our norm. When we're looking at astrological factors, we're looking at fast-moving planets and we're looking at slow-moving planets. The ones that move fast, they blow in, they blow out, they do what they're going to do, but it's pretty quick and usually pretty inconsequential. It's the outer planet connections that are the ones that last a really long time, that make the most mischief. And when those outer planets are in a difficult angle, or combining in ways that have these big challenges, then it dominates the whole energy of the whole world, drilled down even to our individual experience. So this is the first month that we're not dealing with an outer planet clash of some kind. We had it as a dominant force throughout 2020. January and February also had that going on. March, we don't have that. Okay, so that's another must-know reason to celebrate this month. Along with that, there's more reasons to celebrate, and that also has to do with the fact that we're not working with retrograde planets from the personal planet perspective this month, okay? We've got a little wearing off of a post-transit Mercury retrograde kind of shadow that's just like burning off towards the earlier part of the month. But March and April are fully open for moving forward. And even though I talked about this in December and January as also happening, there were a lot of heavier aspects that were coinciding with that openness that could have interfered with some things. But we're not dealing with that in March and April. So we're having these open stars and we don't have the coinciding heavy extra stressful factors that could interfere with that momentum. So expect momentum to build throughout the month and get really wild at the end of March and into April as far as forward movement and things really catching up with where they may have been, backlagged. So there is one more reason actually, as if there weren't enough. Another reason why I'm so excited about this month is we're in between eclipse seasons. Okay, if you've watched my work for a while or if you otherwise follow eclipses, eclipse seasons, meaning like kind of the months around when the eclipses are happening, which is usually twice a year, there's a lot of intensity, there's a lot of radical change, there's a lot of inner and outer, things going on, and it's intense and a lot of times very stressful, like you have your finger stuck in a lightning, what would you call it, a socket for an extended period of time. So May and June are going to be those times. And we'll start to warm up a tiny bit like as we move towards the end of April. But March and most of April are free of that. So we're a few months out from the previous eclipses. We're like at the midpoint before they happen again. And that brings sort of a calm and an ease and a flow that we don't really have during those other times of the year. Okay, so now you fully know why I love this month, why I think it's the best month astrologically of the whole year. And now I want to talk about some things very specific for Capricorn placements. The first thing that you must know is that your fifth house is going to be activated like crazy in this time frame, okay? Between this month and even into next month of April. Your fifth house activated by Mars means that your creative juices are going to be flowing in a really, really major way. So hobbies, artistic projects, if you've been wanting to get into like taking musical lessons, or if you're already in those fields, getting better at a sport, anything that puts you out where people are looking at you, or put something that you create, out where people can see it, or just creating for the sake of itself for yourself, that's going to be really activated. So this is going to be a really great time for like, a Hobby Lobby, or whatever your craft store is called there where you are, like a mad run on craft supplies, and, just planning some space to just get really creative. And, even singing and acting and just all of those areas of life are just really jazzed up. Entertainment and fashion and, all of these extra enriching, juicy parts of life that sometimes fall into the backdrop in the midst of the responsibilities. Those types of things are going to be activated this month. So be very excited about that. Also along with that is romance. The fifth house is called the house of true love. So your true love sector is going to be revved up by Mars. With, and Mars, I always call the border collie of the zodiac, because a border collie, if you've ever had them, I've always kind of had border collies, so I think about them a lot. They're really obsessive about things, and they're really like hyper vigilant and hot on whatever it is that they're interested in, hurting things, or like my one dog I've talked about, she brings pine needles and just will stare at you until you throw the pine needle. So Mars is is doing that thing, that border collie thing, that, obsessive thing in this fifth house of all the things I've already listed, but also romance. So that can make things really zesty and jazz up your love life in a major, major way. It's an amazing time for dating, especially as the month moves on and we clear out of the remainder of that uncertainty. As I mentioned before, not being in a time of personal planet retrogrades has a lot of benefits. And one of the benefits that we're going to experience in March and April because of this is the wearing off of that confusion that came mid-January and all of February. And really we kind of felt it even towards the beginning of January because we were in a lot of those heavy transits. But March, that confusion and that fog and that not being able to see more than 2 feet in front of us thing, that's starting to wear off, and we can start to make longer range plans and make, kind of see how things are progressing in our lives and in the world. And, so that clarity combined with impetus, combined with zest is like going to be applied to everything in your life. And this love life sector is one of them. Also children. If you're trying to have a baby, these are excellent fertility transits for you. And if you're not trying to have a baby, these are still excellent fertility transits for you. So just be aware of that. And so anything having to do with children that you already have, helping them, working with them, taking action on something that they've been needing, getting results, resolving something, all of that is very, very full of promise this month for Cap placements. Okay, so also expect to be super, super, super busy. Most Cap placements I know are super busy. I know I have a lot of Cap placements and I'm always super busy, but there are certain times of the year that things get activated, like when Mars is in Gemini. Expect to be extra busy, so just kind of know that that's coming. Also, the topic of travel is going to be coming up in a very big way. And there are going to be many, many, many people actually taking trips near and far. Okay, and there are going to be other people who are still, things are closed and they can't do anything. And, and for them, it could manifest with social connections, either in person or virtual. Also writing, publishing, editing, doing your creative work. If you're wanting to travel or wanting to interact with people and there are still restrictions in your area, then it could manifest in these other ways that we've talked about. But do know that if you're not traveling this month, it's still going to be a very dramatic increase in odds that you'll start to be able to see a time when that might be able to happen, and you'll start to be able to make some plans around travel, which has not been a possibility for a long time. Okay, so something else to know about this month, a major must know, is that we've got lots of Pisces energies. Now, Pisces energies do actually flow really well with Capricorn because they make a 60-degree angle, and a 60-degree angle is one of the very favorable aspects. So as we have all of this emphasis in Pisces, those placements are making nice aspects for you, which can give you extra kisses and extra support in any area. But here are some areas that you might see extra blessings, and also where energy wants to be concentrated for you, okay? And this is going to actually be globally for everybody, but it's important for Capricorns to know this because it's going to come up. So anything having to do with meditation, spiritual practice, psychic development, intuition, you know, developing or fine-tuning your trust in the bigger being, the bigger picture. Something that I always like to talk about to remind everyone, no matter how heavy and hard things get, there is actually a coherence that is behind everything. And the way that we know this is through math. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why I just love math, is because there's a certainty in it. There's, you know, a predictability in it that is really comforting. And so I talk about this in my book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. There's a section in here with some diagrams that my husband drew up for me to kind of get my visions on paper here, where the relative distance between the planets, also things having to do with their orbits, they actually are the golden ratio. It's the best way I can explain it. So, you know, that golden ratio that we have that is, you know, underneath this mathematical connection, there's a harmony in it, there's a coherence in it, there's a predictability in it, and the layout of the planets and the movement of the planets actually mathematically drill down to that same number, that same magical golden number. And so to me, what that says is that there is a coherence behind the madness and the chaos that we can always return to, that we can always remember is there. And this is a month for really like developing that, because with everything that's gone on and with all the responsibilities that everybody has, but particularly Cap people, I know as a person with many Capricorn placements that we tend to have a lot of extra responsibility and be the ones being the glue holding things together for many people and projects. And underneath the weight of that stress and that pressure and those responsibilities, sometimes it can be easy to like forget all of this. But this is a month when all these Pisces placements are especially making these nice angles for you, but even just the presence of them, remembering that higher source, that higher being, that coherence behind everything. Okay, so this month is also amazing for mystical studies and for working on forgiveness of self and others. If you have financial debt, I've worked with thousands of people one-on-one over decades, and I have seen for myself and other people, it happens so often that if there is some unforgiveness on any level, even if you're not completely aware of it, where you're not forgiving somebody or something, sometimes that can result in owing physical money where you're not having your loan forgiven or you're not being able to somehow pay it off. So there is a relationship energetically between financial debt and even health debt and feeling like somebody owes you something. Because in a holographic reality, if you're tapping someone on the shoulder saying, hey, you owe me something, then someone's going to be tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, you owe me something. And this is an energetic understanding that this month is very much pushed into the forefront. So the more you can work with this, the more you might find you have debt relief. And there is a prayer called the Ho'oponopono, Ho'oponopono. All right, so you can see more about this. It's actually a Samoan prayer that turned into, people think it's a Hawaiian prayer, but in any case, it basically has to do with, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. That's what it drills down to. And the more you can apply this to everything that you have issues with forgiveness, you might see things really start to open up for you in ways that were blocked. And this is definitely a time where channels want to be free and things want to flow and things want to bust open in a really major way. Okay, let's see what else. This is also an amazing time for detoxification because these Pisces planets really have a lot to do with the lymphatic system, clearing out the sludge in your body, clearing out the sludge in your home environment, clearing out the sludge in your relationships. And this month is amazing for that. So there are two more things that I want to talk about. One has to do with watching out around the 28th to 29th of March for the full moon in Libra. Now, fullness, completion, fruition, drama tend to come at full moons, and this is all centered around the energy of relationships. And Chiron is having a bump with some of the personal planets in Aries coinciding with this full moon. So it's going to be an intense one. And I always like to give you a warning about this, because if it is in your power to schedule yourself light during those days at the end of March, it's easier and it's going to be much less stressful for you to have to juggle things to deal with whatever may come up. And I'm not saying that something bad will come up. You might have this happen and see nothing at all. But because there is a lot of energy in the cosmos that is kind of saying a relationship thing gets dealt with, whether it's your relationship to self, which it always turns out to be anyway, your relationship with somebody else, your relationship to relationships itself, in general, issues with codependency, etc. This full moon is very likely going to bring a lot of things to light, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable and stressful. And the more space you have scheduled, like scheduling yourself to be unscheduled is a way to say it, then you might be really happy about that. But this could also mean just something gelling with relationships. So hopefully it will err on the positive, but there is definitely some intensity there. Okay, one other thing I want to mention, and this is just for a few of you. This has to do with if you are near 7 or 8 degrees of Capricorn, okay? So this is basically the end of December, people. And this is going to be coming for those of you, it's already happened for those of you in the earlier part of, the December Cap range. And it's going to be coming for the rest of you, but it's present really now. And for the people at the end of December or close to 7 or 8 degrees, you're getting a kiss from the planet Uranus. Outer planet kisses are amazing because they're long lasting. They can bring some really great things. And this is the energy of surprise in a super positive way. And so all throughout this month, those of you in that date range or degree range are getting this ongoing kiss from the planet Uranus. So amazing ideas, innovation, just things that seem to come out of nowhere that solve problems. It's present as a force. And for the rest of you, the rest of December, and all of January placements, this is coming for you. Okay, so just kind of be aware that things are going to be working along that. But I just wanted to mention it because it's a really yummy aspect. And if you have to do something important, this is a nice aspect to lock something in on. And if you have to, and this is for all, that's for those of you towards the end of December, but for every Cap, this month and April are going to be some of your most productive, best times for launches, especially as March wears on, like mid-March through all of April. Your big launches, your big decisions, signing your contracts, doing anything important like that, your big decisions, moves, things like that. You're going to have better energy now than you've had in a really long time without the conflict of the outer planets interfering with the forward movement. Okay, so if you'd like even more information about the astrology ahead and how you can make the most of it, first go to anniehelpsyou.com. You'll see a little note there that says, "Dear friend, I'm Annie Botticelli," and it will have a sign up right there on the front page. That's where you sign up for my free email newsletter. You'll want to sign up for this because you will get delivered into your inbox 1 month early each month my write-up, a comprehensive write-up of the month ahead, including all the sweet dates, all the salty dates, what you might expect with those, and lots of details about what you can expect for the month and what to be aware of and what to celebrate. Okay, while you're at anniehelpsyou.com, click in the right top corner under blog, and I've got all different types of blogs, but of note here with this astrology forecast is my astrology blog, so you can check that out. Then go to cozybysweetstarlight.com and note that in the notes underneath this video, if you click on the little more arrow underneath the video, it will reveal all of the notes with these actual links so that you don't have to just remember what I'm saying because they're always underneath the video. So you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com, get my written horoscopes for each sign up 1 month early as usual. I like to give you time for planning. Also, I've got extensive different categories for healthy living and astrology kissed living. So herbal teas for each sign, yoga for each sign as the sun moves through the signs. So you'll want to check that out. It's a beautiful site. Then definitely also go to lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. That's my school, Luminous Life Multiversity, and check out the free courses that I have for you. And also you can see my paid courses. If you think I put a lot into my free resources, then wow, you should see what goes into my paid courses. You can check out my Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery course. Even if you don't want to do astrology professionally, if you want to learn astrology because you love it and you want to learn how to use it for yourself, for your own self-development and help your family and friends, or if you do want to do it professionally, this course is crazy comprehensive and it will prepare you to do whatever you want to do with astrology. So you can see that at lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. And the last thing is to make sure to get my book, my new book, Planetology, How to Align with the Natural Rhythms of the Universe. It's in every major bookseller, all in every Barnes & Noble, every Books A Million in the whole United States. It's also everywhere extensively throughout the world. You can get it pretty much anywhere. And it will help you to do just that, align with the natural rhythms of the universe. It's a very comprehensive book, and you'll go back to it time and time again for resources on how to use all of the astrological potentials in the best way. You can get it on Audible, you can get it on ebook, and you can get the beautiful hardcover version. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.